All right, so this section will be recorded live, so we'll share with our colleagues who may not be able to join us this evening. All right, so today's practical section will be on SL function, what we've covered so far. So basically, we are going to look at how practically we can apply them on data analysis and its interpretation. Now, from the previous lessons and walkthroughs, we are going to look at how practically a data looks like and how to understand a data in practical terms. So the first interface you see here are the questions that are going to guide us in our analysis in order to understand the data deeper. But before then, I would take you directly to the data so we can all analyze the context of the data and ask ourselves basic business questions. So usually, the data will be given in a format like this. Data will be given in a format like this, or most often it wouldn't be in a nice table as you see, right? It will just be in a rough table, a rough rows and columns. So you may choose to convert your table into a nice table design like this, right? Depending on what you are doing. So now, this data set first is UN 2021 refugee data for some selected or affected countries around the world. So in the data, we've been taught that in data analytics or in data analytics data process, that's the cycle. The first thing to do always is to understand the problem. And looking at this problem is on the context of refugees. So those who were either displaced or had issues in their countries and being relocated to other countries. That is the understanding of or the problem for this data. The next thing to look at is the the data understanding. In understanding this data, we see affected countries in our first column and country of refugee or refugees. So I can add S over here. What this is saying is that these were the countries that were affected. Besides these countries, people from these countries were taken to these countries. So you could see that Afghanistan, some people were taken to Iran, whilst some people from Afghanistan were taken to Pakistan in the same year 2021. People from Albania were taken to China, others were taken to Egypt, and some were taken to Iraq. And the countries follows: Venezuela, Uzbekistan, and the like, and the rest. It follows. The third column is the year, right? Meaning that all this problem or data were gathered in just 2021, or this incident was gathered or happened in 2021. And the next column is refugees assisted by United Nations headquarters commission for refugees. So in this case, we are looking at people that were assisted by the commission. The next one is looking at the real situation on the ground. And from the situation, people that were assisted. So these are the columns we have. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 columns in total. So now how do we understand this data? How do we figure out this data? And how do we make our way from this data? So please, I will not be mentioning names. I think the number has increased now. So please, you can unmute yourself and let me hear from you. Now, what do you make from this data? What is your understanding from this data? we are looking at data understanding. Practically, what do you see from the data? Before we all come to the questions that will guide us in doing our analysis this evening. It's going to be intensive and practical. Okay. So I have one with me here, right? So he couldn't join, so he's with me. And he is saying that we should clean the data because he's seen 1999 and he doesn't understand it, right? Yes, indeed, it's true. To understand the data, after understanding the data, you must look for your data cleaning. You must clean your data, make sure that everything is perfect for you to analyze. And he's having issue with the 1999. Now, in this case, I don't know what the person was trying to write over here, right? But if I type on the 1999, or if I highlight on the 1999, it is giving me a different name. If you can realize that. So highlight on the 1999, and it will give you Serbia and Kosovo. So meaning that people from Albania, some were taken to Serbia and some were taken to Kosovo. I wasn't there. You weren't also there. So how do we know that the 1999 is the ideal number and values to be to be faced, or the Serbia and the Kosovo are the ideal values to be fixed over there? So if you put 1999 there, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. So in cleaning this data, we will thank Hayford much to give us this insight. So to me, I would replace the 1999 with Serbia, and Kosovo. But if somebody asks, okay, why Serbia and Kosovo? Now, if we intend to create another, like to add another cell right over here, that, okay, now we have two countries here. So we are putting Albania again over here. So please, let's be careful about the data cleaning and data understanding process, right? So if we put Albania again here and we want to split this one, now the good thing is looking at the refugees assisted by the commission. There were 0 people, right? Nobody was assisted by them. Meanwhile, there were 57 total cases recorded on the ground. So in this case, if you intend to maybe bring Serbia here, and you leave Kosovo over here, you can put in 2021 over here, 2021 over here, and here you can also put 0 over here. I'm coming. Here 0 over here, right? But if you put 0 over here, it tallies with the correct values for Serbia and Kosovo. But what of the real situation on the ground from the same country? Here we can divide it. So it is good you will leave your correction as you did it, right? Because the 1999 gave us Serbia and Kosovo, and that should be okay. Please, again, can anybody also figure out something? Please, you can open yours and scroll through, or whilst you are watching it from afar, you can also draw my attention because I can't see much. I don't even know what I'm doing. So please, we are on data understanding and data cleaning. So how do we understand this data? How do we clean this data?
Please. I think there is some empty space inside.
Okay, so the empty space. Okay, so what is the correct terminology for that? Can somebody help us? The correct terminology to fill in the empty space. Can somebody help us?
I'd say missing values.
Missing values. Oh, somebody should try.
You can use zeros or NA. Or
No, like I just need the terminology. I just need the correct terminology. All right. So we see there are some
okay.
zeros, empty cells. We don't call it space, it is cells, right? Empty cells. All right, please. My Tanzanians, are you with me here? Okay, so we don't call it empty space, right? We don't call it empty space, please. We use the empty space to enhance understanding, right? But now we are eating into the data science journey. We call it what? Empty cell, right? Empty cell.
Empty cell.
Yeah. So the correct terminology to address what we are talking about is to impute missing values. Right. Please, are you on the same page? So
yes.
the correct terminology here is to impute missing values over here. So please, in imputing the missing values, now there is no value for us here. And we see as high as 123, 92, 128. Now, what do we need to do? What value should I put it over there? Should I put A here or put B here? What should I do? Please, we are imputing missing values. What should we do? So in imputing missing values, the correct thing to do is to always impute 0, right? It will not change anything, right? We will come to when to impute NA, that's not the number, and when to impute 0, right? But for now, we are imputing 0 for our analysis, right? Please, if the space is faster or fast, please, you can let me know and I'll slow it down, right? So now, I think to me, I see Iran, Islamic Republic of, right? Now, in data science or in data analysis, we have something called ambiguity of data, right? We don't need too much information. That's why we use descriptive statistics to always aggregate and summarize our data, right? So make your data as clean, as clear, as concise as you can, right? So Iran is a country. So the Islamic whatever is not necessary. To mean, I will tell you to just clear it, right? So Venezuela, we know this is a country, right? So whatever Republic of, it's not a problem, but as an expert, you should be able to just clear it, right? And if I come here again, if there's any correction to be done, right, you can go through and now you can see Congo, Republic of. So if you are to generate any data and you are presenting these names or such a name, it's going to speak negative about your profession, right? So Congo is Congo. I know we have Congo Brazzaville and Congo something, right? So now Congo Brazzaville, then you rename it, right? You rename it as that. And this Democratic Republic of Congo, which one is which one? Which is which? Is it Congo Brazzaville or Congo whatever? You make sure you have the correct information and you do the needful. Okay. Please, okay, ask your question. Razak.
Please.
Okay.
About the imputing values in empty cells.
Okay.
Please, can we not use the NA or the alphabet?
No. We can use NA, right?
Yeah.
NA statistically, right? It's a quantitative variable, right? That's not a number. But I said in our subsequent trainings, we will look at the statistical significance of NA and statistical significance of 0, right? So we will know which is which, right? But for now, we are looking at imputing missing values. So let's go by the 0, right? So all right. So please, you make sure that your data is clear. Right now, we are not looking at doing corrections and changing of names or stuff like that, but just how to handle data. Any data you get, please make sure you handle it like this. Now we are done with our missing values, our data and cleaning and whatever. So data understanding. Now, how many countries were affected? Now I can ask myself that question after understand that this data is for refugees 2021 across the world. Okay, so how many countries were affected by it? Was it a war? Was it whatever? But in this case, they didn't add the particular issue associated. Either it was war, hunger, famine, drought, or earthquake, right? It was just refugees. So our focus is on, okay, how many countries were affected? How many countries were affected? Okay, that's one question. Okay, so what were the total number of people who were affected? We are looking at the total number of refugees, right? So you can come here and scroll, so you can do your analysis. So with the real situation, how many people were actually affected? Either known or unknown, right? You can also ask yourself that simple question. Which country was affected the most? It's a business question, right? So in all, some of these questions will inform your understanding and will guide your analysis. Okay, please, you can ask your question.
Please, affected countries,
Okay,
when we look at the data set, the table,
okay,
we have affected countries on the left, right? That's the first part of the table.
yes.
Yeah. So I think, is that one what you are talking about, or the countries that received the cases, or they helped in the case?
Okay, so it's just a random questions, right? Trying to understand the data. So I can ask myself, or you can ask yourself, the actual countries affected. So these were the actual countries affected, and these were countries that they were migrated to, right, or taken
Yeah.
for hostage or for shelter.
Okay.
You understand it? Is it clear?
I'm not very clear. No.
Okay. So affected countries, right, were the countries
Yeah.
that had the issue, like maybe war in Afghanistan, right? And some people from Afghanistan were migrated to Iran for shelter, right? And some people from Afghanistan, some of them were taken to Pakistan.
Okay.
Some of the people from Albania were taken to China, whilst others were taken to Egypt and Iraq. Is that okay?
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Please, if you have a question, please, let's all interact, right? So the training will be engaging. So after understanding some of these simple questions, right, when the data is unguided, in a sense that it is not followed by any guideline to help you do the analysis for the company, or you've gone for a data set and you want to perform an analysis. But in this case, we are looking at the total number of refugees assisted by the commission in 2021. So now we are looking at total number. So in total number, please don't forget that whatever we are doing it in relation to our topic for week 2, right? Basic functions in Excel. So if I want to find my total number, what is the correct function to go for? Now, the guideline is saying that go for sum, because you need a sum total of refugees that were assisted. Come back to your data. So which column should I look at first? You're looking at refugees assisted, right? So you're looking at this one first. So you found sum total of this. You come back again, and situation assisted by the commission. So you come back and you look for which other column again. So this is the situation, and this is the situation assisted. So now we are going to find the sum total of this, sum of this, sum of this. That's it. So now, for our first time, we are not going to do the analysis here. We are going to do the analysis in a different sheet, right? So since we have about 10 questions, we can't go for 10 sheets, right? So let's say analysis over here. Analysis, right? Analysis. So question 1, right? Any other question, we will add them over here. So we will know which questions that were answered here. Okay. So now we are looking at question 1. So let's delete this. So now don't forget that now we are looking at sum total of refugees assisted, right? Sum total of sum total of refugees. So RF, refugees assisted, right? Assisted by, so let's put it like this, sum total of refugees assisted. Now let's come here. So we are looking at sum total. So sum total, the entire thing, right? So we are looking at sum total of the situation, right? Sum total of the situation. And we are looking at the third one, sum total of the situation assisted, right? Of the situation assisted. So over here, in order to enhance my data readability and data visibility, please, let's take note of the terminologies. Format what you have here, right? Format them, and now you can choose to design whatever, however you would want it to be or look like, right? So I would want to design mine like this, give them nice colors, and also do it this way, right? So I know all these are for question number 1, right? So question number 1. So my question number 1, I can come and design my question number 1. You can choose not to design anything, right? It's not a problem. But you can, I think it is good you start from the scratch and learn how to beautify your analysis, right? Okay, so how do I find the sum total of this? It's very simple. The question said we should use the sum function. So to write any function formula, the first thing to do is to press equation sign, right? Please write your function, click on it. So when you click on it, this open bracket will display over here. Don't touch anything, right? Just drag your mouse, come to your data, where your data is, click on it. When you do that, come to your refugees assisted, right? Because that's the first thing you're going to look for. Just highlight everything, please. Make sure your cursor turns like mine before you do that, right? The moment you do that, you will see a display of the range or the sum range in your formula bar. Please, let me clarify this. We write formulas in 2 types, right? We can use the cell, like we started the sum function. But over here, after we highlighted this, we've moved from the analysis sheet, worksheet, to the data worksheet. And now it is saying that sum bracket open, table 1, before the column name, right? Maybe somebody's asking, so why table 1 over there? I don't understand. Please, it's very simple. Now, this is indicating where this table is, right? Maybe yours, you will not see table 1, you will see data. It is correct. Depending on the version of the Excel you are using, and even your machine, right, will determine either your data will pick the name of the sheet, either data, right, or it is going to pick the name of the table, right, over here for you. So it is not a problem. And this is the column, the entire column, right? Now you can choose to close the bracket over here, or you can choose to ignore. Only if your function is simple as this, right? You just click on enter and you go back, you will see your result over here, right? So this is the sum total of refugees assisted by the commission. Now let's repeat it for this, our sum, right? Please don't click anything, just drag your mouse to your data, right? Now we are looking at the situation. So just come and highlight situation. At first, we put comma, bracket close over here. Here, I'm not going to put anything. So you understand the confusion that is going on here. Now we have our sum total, so we can read the total number of whatever we have over here. Now, the last one, we are looking at the sum again, and we are looking at our data. We are looking at situation assisted, right? We are looking at the situation assisted. Now, because it is very simple, I'll just click enter. Now it will take me back to my data, right? And you can choose to highlight everything or not. So now here, I can put here a sum total, right? Sum total, sum total, sum total, sum total. So please, if you put sum total over here, like I told you, in data science, we don't like ambiguity of expression. It is not English. Don't write plenty. Make your analysis, your test, as clear as we can read them, right? So since the sum total is here, you can choose to delete the sum total over here. So maybe number of situation assisted, right? Refugees situation assisted. So you can just replace this by number of, right? So the n means number of 0. Let me put 0 here. Let me put 0 here. Let me put number of, right? So you can have your sum total over here. So if you are like myself, you can choose to design your table. I like designing my table, putting my analysis in a nice tables, right? So please, yes, use the top one as headers, right? And you have it nicely like this. And now you can choose to design your table as beautiful as you want. Boom, right? We are there. Now let's look at question number 2. I believe you can do better than I'm doing over here. So let's look at question number 2. Total refugees assisted by the commission from each country. It's very confusing. It's very tricky. Please, if you've watched the video, that's fine. The previous video. But if not, there's going to be an issue here. So please draw my attention as quickly as you can so we can handle it with care. All right. So total refugees assisted by the commission from each country. To do this, we must come back here and understand the data. So this comes to when do we use sum if? If somebody can help us quickly, you can differentiate between when to use sum and when to use sum if. Can somebody help us? All right. For our time, we use sum when we want to find sum total for something, right? Like we did over here. And the sum function is used for quantitative calculation, period. But the sum if is when we have a criteria. What is a criteria? When we are looking for something from qualitative and quantitative variables. Now, we need the sum total for each country. For each country. So how do we do it? If you put everything together, you are going to get the sum total of this. But we need the sum for only Afghanistan. Now we are specific. So how do we do it? Are you going to do it manually? Okay, Afghanistan, we have 112 here. So Afghanistan, we have 123. What country is this? Algeria, where we have 128, 92 over here. And we have so many people over here. How are you going to do it? It's going to be very difficult, right? From the video I sent, we only had just few questions to be answered. But this, we have so many columns, rows that we can do it manually. So we need to automate our analysis. So explaining this, now we are looking at sum total for Afghanistan. So Afghanistan becomes our criteria. So now our focus is not on the sum total. Our focus is on the Afghanistan's total cases. So in this case, we are going to use Afghanistan as our criteria against the total number of cases we have on the ground. So in this case, we must use sum if function, but not the sum function. So how do I do it? All right, it seems we have just 1 minute. So please, if it ends, let's quickly join and continue from there. Okay. So now to use the sum if function, please, if you have problem with it, let me know. If you have problems, so sum if, I'm coming.